today's episode, I want to talk about what are characteristics or attributes of high-functioning teams. I've been on a lot of teams in the course of my life and my career. I remember when I was in high school, I was on the team band. I also danced with the dance team in the off season. I remember going to college and I was on study teams. I was in a lab team as I was working on my chemistry degree. And then, of course, when I was working on my master's degree, I worked on a team for an honors program where I learned from an amazing woman named Joyce Swarsman about the value of high-functioning teams and how to cultivate them. So I'm really passionate about really trying to live into these things and to cultivate them among the teams that I have the privilege of being part of. Because I'll tell you, after I finished my degrees, I was working at King High School, teaching chemistry and leading a dance team. And it just went on and on when I got into sales and building teams and leaders. So today, I want to walk you through some characteristics, and I want you thinking about, do you embody these? How have you seen these characteristics emulated or demonstrated in the course of your life and career? Okay, let's get started. First, there are common goals among teams that are high functioning. Common goals. So are the teams that you're on or the team that you lead, does everyone know the goal? Does everyone know what are you working towards? Why are you doing what you do? So there are common goals. Now, each person might work towards that goal in a unique way or a different way, or it might be a very highly process-driven approach to that goal achievement. But the key is we all have common goals. And so that is first and foremost. Do you know the goal? Can you articulate the goal? I know in what we do in Southwestern Consulting, one of our key goals is helping people to achieve their goals in life. Common goal shared by the overall organization and the team specifically. Okay, second thing, everyone not only knows the common goal, but they understand the common goal. So we can intellectually know it, but have we translated that and have an understanding of it, what it looks like, what it sounds like? Is that goal SMART? Have we made it specific? Is it measurable? So in other words, measurable, do we know when we've actually moved forward in the goal? Do we know when we've actually had success in achievement of the goal? So is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? That's important because people want to know that it's possible. And then is it reviewable? And really reviewable, but also relevant. Goals need to be relevant to the individual because then they can connect with it even more deeply and also passionately. And so specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, or reviewable, and then T, time value or time specific. What is the time frame in which we're going to work on this goal, or the time frame in which we want to see this goal accomplished? So having everyone understand the goal, and specifically when those goals are SMART, is incredibly valuable. Okay, third aspect of high-functioning teams, there is a strong, motivating, complementary leader. So for a team to function, inevitably someone will rise to the top to lead, or a strong, motivating, complementary leader has built the team. And this is an important aspect. So let's just look at those. Strong leaders need the ability to have hard conversations. That takes strength. Leaders need the ability to stay the course, to see beyond, and to lead the way, to lead by example. That's part of the motivating part. They are willing to lead by example. They can speak words of life and challenge that motivates people, and they're complementary. This can come in many forms. It could be the leader is willing to acknowledge a person's strengths, the value they add to the team. It could also be the leader's strength complements the strengths of the team that have been assembled. So that's another great aspect of a high functioning team. Here is a fourth. Members of a high-functioning team, their role is clearly defined. You can have team members, but if they do not have clearly defined roles, then this is where people step on each other's toes. They're talking over each other. They're working over each other. They question, what are they empowered to do? Because with lack of clarity of role, then people are trying to figure it out as they go along, or they'll hold back, or they will constantly be asking the leader, what about this and what about that? Because there's not a clear empowerment of what it looks like to fulfill the role that needs to be clearly defined. All right, number 5, there's trust and reliance. That trust and reliance is understood by all. So there's no question in a high-functioning team that we can trust each other. People feel that they can rely on their teammates in a high-functioning team. I remember when I worked in the Suncoast area teacher training honors program at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Was on this amazing team. I was the special projects coordinator, and I remember each of us played a role in the overall development of the program, how we served the students that were going through the College of Education in order to become the future teachers of that day. And we all relied on each other heavily. But we all knew that we could. There was a high level of trust. I knew that when my friend Sandra said, I'm going to take care of that, it was going to be taken care of. And that was true of everyone on the team. And so in a high functioning team, there is a trust and there is reliance on one another. Next, delegation. How well do you delegate? Even I have to catch myself holding on to things that need and should have been delegated. I'm chief offender this week. Because of poor planning on my part, I did not delegate something that my assistant would have gladly taken care of. How about you? Are you willing to delegate? Or are you so holding on to control that your team is going, we can help, we're willing to help, but you got to let us help? So a high functioning team, delegation is happening. And guess what? You can delegate incredibly strategically when you have clearly defined roles. Because when you have clearly defined roles and you have team members that know exactly what it is that they are being asked to do, should be doing, then you can easily go, this needs to be delegated to this person. So that's an important aspect of really cultivating that high functioning team. Next, mutual respect. We are different. We bring different strengths to the table. We have different weaknesses that could hinder the progress of a team. So when we have mutual respect, we are willing to honor those differences, to appreciate those differences, and to allow people to leverage their strengths within the context of the team. So there's a mutual respect. Next, people are trained. Everyone knows how to do it. when you have a high functioning team, if someone is sick, the team is not crippled because everyone knows the basics of what needs to happen, or they know it well. This is important. To be a high functioning team, we need to know that it's okay to be sick. It's okay to have to be away for good reasons. Why? Because other people on the team are able to pick up the slack when needed. So it's important that if you want to cultivate a high functioning team, you need training among your team. And that leads me to the next one. Everyone pitches in when needed. We don't wait. We don't wait to be told. We don't wait till it's an emergency. We pitch in when it is necessary. So incredibly important. Then each member listens, hears, accepts, compromises. I'm going to say it again. Each member of the team listens, they hear, they accept, they compromise. Okay, so let's break this down. Listening, and I'm talking about active listening, where we aren't trying to formulate a response. We aren't thinking about, the groceries need to be picked up. We are actively listening to what other people are saying. So we are hearing them. And in hearing them, then we are accepting what is said. Sometimes what we hear is something that we need to work on, or something that needs to be changed about our performance or how we are engaging. So we need to be able to accept that. And then sometimes accepting means that I need to compromise. Maybe it's not done exactly the way that I want it to be done, or I would like for it to be done, but I can compromise and look for how we can continue to function well as a team in the accomplishment of the goals that we all know and understand, and we are willing to pitch in and do what is necessary. So that's part of the compromise piece. Next, each team member accepts responsibility for one's actions. This, I believe, is something that it's important that we are reminding ourselves that my response is my responsibility. My taking action is my responsibility. If I want to cultivate a high functioning team, then I need to ensure that I'm encouraging people to accept responsibility. That means when the ball is dropped, we own it. When the detail is missed, we own it. We accept responsibility. We don't try to push it off on someone else. We don't try to blame someone else. In a high-functioning team, members are accepting responsibility. They are owning those actions. Next, high-functioning team, they cheer on others. They all cheer on others. Such an important aspect of being able to be each other's biggest cheerleaders. And I do think, I do think that is incredibly important, the ability to be able to cheer on our team members. Because why? We're appreciating the strengths that each person brings to the table. And when we have mutual respect for our fellow team members, it's a lot easier to be able to cheer them on. Next, a team doesn't revolve around a single member. I alluded to this earlier. If someone's sick, the team doesn't fall apart. Why? Because everyone's trained. It's also because we have not allowed the team to completely revolve around a single person. And this is incredibly important as you're building a team to build your business, that you keep in mind that if you place so much emphasis on a single individual, what happens if something happens? How does that impact your operation, your ability to continue to keep your business going? So really significant that we assess, have we allowed our team to revolve around a single member? Because high functioning teams, they don't revolve around a single member. Also, high functioning teams change. They alter strategies when confronted with obstacles, they're flexible, they're adaptable. So if we're faced with an obstacle, we find a way to make it work. We find a way to either go around the obstacle, bust through the obstacle, leap over the obstacle, whatever it looks like. A high functioning team does not allow obstacles to keep them from moving forward. They are willing to demonstrate flexibility and adaptability. And when we are taking the time to trust and rely, then we expand our brain power. Why? Because my perspective is different from another team member's perspective. And that perspective can be exactly what's needed for us to deal with whatever the obstacle or the challenge that is attempting to hinder our progress. So incredibly important. Next, there is feedback, follow up, and follow through. So when we're in a high functioning team, we are willing to give feedback and to receive feedback. Then we're willing to follow up. Hey, how's that going? How did that change or shift, or the way in which we were flexible? How did that go in the accomplishment of our goals? And when we've agreed to follow through, we've taken responsibility for a task or for an action item, we're willing as a high functioning team member to follow through. And if you're leading a team that you desire to be high functioning, it is incredibly important that you have built, as a strong, motivating, complementary leader, accountability around follow through. Because at the end of the day, if we're each taking responsibility for our role, we need to ensure that follow through is actually happening. And the last piece of my list here of high functioning teams, again, not exhaustive, but certainly a way to get us thinking, is that high functioning teams, everyone has fun. That's right. Life is short. We need to have fun, to be able to laugh, to share in some jokes, to just really enjoy what we do together. And guess what? All of these characteristics or attributes of high functioning teams aren't just in business. They could be in sports. They can be, guess what, in your family. They could be in the team that you're on as an adult, whether you're playing a sport or you're enjoying doing something with your friends. But we can all exhibit these characteristics so that we ourselves can be a high functioning team member. And also we can be part of cultivating a high functioning team. One little piece here, as I begin to wrap this up, is that high functioning teams are willing to have some ground rules so that there is clarity around what does great interaction look like. So here are just a couple of examples of some ground rules that a high functioning team might have. We are all colleagues. Let's respect each other. Mutual respect. It is okay to disagree. This is not about uniformity. It is about unity. And we can have disagreement regarding approach or thought processes. The key is, are we willing to alter strategy when confronted with obstacles? Are we willing to be flexible and adaptable? So it's okay to disagree. Listen to your fellow team members as an ally. That's a great ground rule. In other words, we are not enemies. We are on the same side. So listen as an ally. And then everyone participates and no one dominates. This is important. We want to hear everyone's thought process because perspective, incredibly powerful. So it's important that we really cultivate everyone's participation and that we don't have a single individual dominating in the team. And then last ground rule that I've seen work really, really well is honor time limits. When people on a team are very passionate about the topic, it's great to be able to set time limits. So you could set a timer, and then it's a matter of we all choose to honor that time limit. You can also have like a speaking object. What I mean is, whoever has the coin, they've got the floor. When the time is up, the coin is passed to the center of the table. The person who's going to speak next takes the coin. They've got the floor to share what it is that they want to share. But again, finding ways to operate at a high level, having some ground rules, and really cultivating these characteristics. Common goals. Everyone understands the goal. Strong, motivating, complimentary leader. Member roles are defined. Trust and reliance and understanding, delegation, mutual respect, trained. Everybody can do it. Everyone pitches in when needed. Every member listens, hears, accepts, and compromises. Each member accepts responsibility for actions. All cheer each other on. The team doesn't revolve around one person. We're willing to change, alter strategies when confronted. There is feedback, follow up, and follow through. And everyone is willing and ready and able to have fun. So I want to encourage you today, be someone who emulates these characteristics, and as a leader, cultivate high-functioning teams by cultivating these characteristics and hiring people that can live into these characteristics when they join your team. Because when you do, you're going to cultivate a team that has good thinking built into how they approach their team. And you know what I say, when we cultivate thinking that matters, we can cultivate a life that matters. And today I would say, when we cultivate thinking that matters and among our team members, we cultivate teams that matter and make a difference. You all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to hearing your stories of how you are successfully cultivating high-functioning teams.